All right, everybody, mic's on, and we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Lowkick Chicago FGC podcast, and this is number 5. I'm your host, Ryan, and
I thought you were gonna say your last name too.
great introduction.
Let's give his character. I'm Aaron Sterling. My tag is Claws from Bombs. Good to be here for another week.
And we have some special guests with us today. Would you guys introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Nolber from NetPlayBattles.
I'm Jeremiah Hunley. I'm with NetBattles as well. We're TOs
right.
down in Indy.
Yeah.
And so these guys, they trekked all the way up here. You drove like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
3 hours. Well,
And then
3.5 hours.
2.5 for me. I'm in northern
Yeah,
Indiana.
I
Who's
really,
counting, right?
really appreciate you guys
we
coming
love
out.
Chicago. We love you guys. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these guys, they run a tournament every month called Godlike Saturdays, and I reached out to them because I wanted to get some more information, and I wanted to spotlight some of the other scenes in the Midwest besides Chicago. So tell us a little bit more about Godlike Saturdays.
sure. Pretty much it's a tournament series that we started in 2012.
That's when I joined it. You've been going for a little bit
2012.
before that.
Yeah. We've been doing monthlies every time since 2012. But now more than ever is where it has gotten a lot of steam. We've been getting a lot of support from all over the region, from Cincinnati, Kentucky, Columbus, even people from Cleveland, and of
Wow.
course some guys from
So
Chicago.
you guys have pot bonuses as well?
Sometimes, yeah, we do the Metrino because we've been working with Arturo to be able to stream under NYC Furby.
Okay.
Shout outs to him. He's a great guy. He's been helping me a lot and teaching me a lot about streaming and all that good stuff. But yeah, we would try to do a lot of that, and even a circuit for the Dragon Ball,
Nice.
where we put all the tournaments together, so that way we can all help the entire scene around the Midwest and
Oh, right.
blow it
Nice.
up and
Okay,
take it
cool.
to the next level. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get on that circuit because our weekly has been
next
it's been awesome so far.
I don't know if you want to add something more to it or.
Yeah, I mean, I started out just actually going to Godlike Sundays.
Yeah. Oh my
Back
Okay,
in
so there was
way
a
back in the
Sundays.
day, it was Godlike.
Yeah.
This was
So there
5-6
were
years ago
Sundays.
when it
This
was
is early
it was
stages,
Godlike
yeah.
Sundays, and I think they were just recording matches and posting
yeah.
them to YouTube every once in a while. And a buddy of mine and I had just gotten into streaming, and that's when I helped Nolber at the first Naptown Clutch that I went to. Was Naptown
Right.
Clutch 3, and we streamed that one, and we kind of been.
Was that the one with Clockwork?
That was the one where Clockwork came up and just washed everybody.
Yeah.
I think it was him and Andre in the finals.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, and then I've been helping out ever since that, and I think just in the last year or two, I've actually been an official NetBattles
Yeah. He's my
TO
right-hand man,
member,
yeah.
and we've just been running them out since.
So tell me a little bit about NetBattles. Then I'm not familiar with that.
So pretty much at the beginning, it was pretty much a way for me because I'm from Miami.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a old school Marvel 2 player. I
Nice.
play anything, but I play a lot of Marvel 2, which is why you see those guys over here.
Yeah,
But,
a lot of those guys are from the arcade scene out here, right?
Exactly. As soon as they found out that I was coming, they're like, "Okay, we need to get some Marvel 2 games."
Nice.
So yeah, I'm like, yeah, come through. But
Okay.
but yeah, when I moved from Miami, I was looking for a scene in Indy, and there was not really a strong scene. There was people going to this particular location. It's very tiny, maybe like 5 people.
Okay.
And then I heard about this tournament called Naptown Clutch, and went over there. I think it only had like about 40 people total for
Okay.
all the games they had. And I signed up. Nobody knew who I was. I didn't know who anybody was, but everybody was super friendly and inviting. And I joined the 2 tournaments for Marvel 2, which was low tiers and pretty much anybody. Destroy everybody was free. It was super
okay,
free.
okay.
And everybody's like, "No, who are you?" I'm like, "No, dude, I'm just a guy from Miami, whatever. If you guys want some help, I can help out. I want to kind of like help you guys with this community because in Miami, we already kind of have it a little more built, so I can help you guys out." And then from there, I was just pretty much bringing literally my PlayStation and my Xbox with 2 screens and hoping for people to show up on a weekly basis. That didn't show up a whole lot. Didn't work out a whole lot. So we went from there to try to do a monthly. And that's when Godlike Sundays happened. Because that was the only day that I could do it because I was in the restaurant business.
Mhm.
So I was working Saturdays. And then that's when it was catching steam. And people started showing up, and out of the blue, Hornet came through. And Derek Legend, and he came through, and we were like, what is going on over here? And even though it was like 40 people and stuff, little by little started growing. And now pretty much is what it is now. Where
That's
last month
awesome.
we had 100 people,
Wow.
pretty much all over the Midwest. So it was
That
Yeah,
sounds
the
that
the
sounds
biggest
really
we had.
good.
We had 104 people registered for games last month. That was our highest one.
What games do you guys typically run?
You want to go ahead?
Well, right now the main games we run, Infinite, Marvel Infinite, Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, and Dragon Ball. And then we also usually have side tournaments for Guilty Gear, and KOF, and then Injustice. Injustice and Marvel kind of take the same time slot as main games for the first slot, and then Street Fighter, Tekken, and DBZ are the other main games we have. And then we've also have a pair of super guns that we bring every month, and we run Super Turbo every month, and then we have a rotating another rotating retro, which the last month it was Windjammers.
And that did really well.
And yeah, it
We
did.
had like 15 people.
And people
The
love
month
that
before
game.
that,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What was the? I don't remember
Yeah, it was.
what the retro was the month before that, but this month it's Third Strike.
Correct.
So
But we're still gonna have some other retro games so people can play casually.
Okay.
But we usually have Super Turbo and another one that we actually do at
yeah,
practice.
Super Turbo is the one that we try to keep around, but then we have another.
Right.
So, and those are run on super guns, so they're arcade perfect on CRTs. They're really, really nice setups that we put a lot of work into. And Joe Gillian and Amber, they're the ones that have helped us a lot with that. They round out the four of us that kind of make up the NetBattles team right now, the main
Right.
four.
Okay.
Right. So they are the ones that couldn't make it, but they're definitely they're the other half of NetBattles at Godlikes and stuff like that.
Nice.
So-
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm still open to having them on
Oh, yeah,
too.
most definitely.
Like I'm
Yeah.
trying to really grow this kind of podcast and like
Podcast.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
We're talking,
podcast
talking about
and-
fish here.
and just like touch base with everybody in the scene because
Yeah.
we only started about a year ago, right? And I came in completely new to the scene, right?
Okay.
Never really played fighting games before. I went to school with him.
Yeah.
He played fighting games for years, and everybody that I've met have been playing fighting games. But I started at a small like video game store, and they were
Okay.
just like, hey, our other associate runs Smash Bros tournaments. You should try Street Fighter. So I did, and this was right when Street Fighter 5 came out.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
so okay, so yeah, you literally brand new. I thought you were gonna say like Street
Oh
Fighter
yeah.
4 or
He's,
something.
yeah,
I
he's a
mean,
baby. He's a baby.
I played fighting games when I was a kid, but I was never
Yeah.
really introduced to the FGC until earlier this year. And then like it wasn't until I got the opportunity to host a tournament at a bar that was just completely. They needed people, they needed help, and they were like, you have a gaming following because you used to be at this place. At the store, so you
Right.
should come here and bring your people here. Like we won't charge you for the space. You literally just bring out people, and they buy drinks and stuff, and
That's how it
that was the
starts, man.
exchange,
Mhm.
Yep.
And so like I had my first tournament. I was like, this is great. It was a
Right.
great feeling again to be doing tournaments because when I had stopped doing them, like I used to host them at like I said, the video game store, and for a while it was like months where I just stopped doing them, and I invited all my people out, and it was a great turnout. And I was like, what, I'm gonna try to do something with this. And then I formed Lowkick, and got
That's
some
pretty
people
nice.
together. And within the last 10 months, or no, it's almost been a year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
within
we're coming up on the April.
April,
Yeah.
within the last year, it's been crazy. We've been meeting so many people and trying
That's
to
how you
do
do it.
so
A
many
lot of
things.
network
It's
calls
been-
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's some of the fastest movement I've ever had in any of my projects, and I do quite a few things. Like I'm a design student, I do music production and everything like that. But this is like, so far I'm having the most fun and most satisfaction, like being a part of the
That's
community.
awesome.
It's
It's a
great.
fun community
so,
to be part of, for
yeah,
sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's
A
awesome.
lot of awesome people.
Definitely.
So what is your take? I have to ask now. What is your take on the FGC? Like not knowing anything from it to just starting this whole thing that you've been doing for a year.
What is my take on it?
Like how do you feel about it? Like
I feel like it has a lot of potential, right?
Okay.
And our mission within Lowkick is always like we have this vision, and we want to host big tournaments, right? And
mhm.
bring everybody together. And our thing is, and one of the reasons we have this podcast is we're trying to connect everybody, because we feel like that a lot of the groups are like off doing their own thing, but the Midwest is like the biggest region compared to East Coast and West Coast. And if we were more, united and doing
Connected and,
things
try to
together,
work together. Yep.
we would be the
And we're
spot,
getting
spot
there.
for, and we are. Like, somebody just reached out to me yesterday and wants to work with us, and he was like, yeah, when I first started this about 5 or 6 years ago, his business, Chicago Esports, he said that it was just him and Ignite, and there wasn't really anybody out here, and it wasn't until they started getting involved, other people started doing things, then Wit came along, and
Yeah.
and now there's places, there's people, there's small sub communities that are trying to put things together. So, our goal is just to try to bring everybody together and make the scene really cool, bring some really cool events out here, and then also just expose people outside of the esports realm and just the regular video gaming scene and show them like what fighting games are all about. Because in my personal opinion, like I've been following the esports scene like as a whole for a couple years, and I've just been observing it. In school I would write papers on it and stuff like that, and I think that from an outsider's perspective, this is the most fun esport to watch when it comes to like watching it on TV, because now they're broadcasting on ESPN and stuff like that.
Which is still blows my mind. Being
Right.
guy
Yeah,
that
it's,
Right.
it's funny because like I
From
work at
way
a
back.
bar,
But
and, like,
as
I
a-
saw it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry.
But no, I saw it. I saw it on ESPN, like on the bar TV, and someone's like, "Eric, come out here." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Right." So like, because they changed it to the TV just for me, right? And I'm like, "Yo, look at this," right? So like, yeah. When I joined Lowkick was right. Like I want fighting games to be like the norm, like that. Like I want you to walk into like any given bar and that be like a thing that you just expect to see, like a baseball game or a basketball game.
I think eventually it's gonna get there. It's just gonna take a little more time and a lot of effort from us.
Yeah.
So that way we can showcase to those big companies, like you guys are saying, ESPN and TVS and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that we're deserving of that, and we can like sustain it the right way.
Yeah.
But right now they're pretty much testing. But like to your point, like the time that it really hit me, I was watching a game. I think it was the Cavaliers against another crazy team. I think it was Golden State or something. And Marv Albert was like, "Oh yeah, which character do you like to play in Street Fighter?" And the other commentator was like, "Oh, Guile." And he's, like they started talking about the game like that, and this is like NBA commentators because
Really?
they were gonna talk about they were promoting
Yeah.
the what was it, the TVS
Oh, I think I remember
E-League.
that. I do remember
Yeah,
that. It was a couple
TVS
years ago.
tournament. The what?
E-League.
Yeah, the E-League TBS tournament that was huge, and yeah, I was like, wait a minute, did they just went from talking about LeBron to talking about Street Fighter? Like, what just happened? This is insane. So yeah, those are good signs overall.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting there. I just think that people they want it so bad that they want it to happen now.
Right.
And it's
gonna
the
take a
cycle
lot of
is
work,
happening.
yeah.
It's gonna take a little bit of effort, and we're gonna get there. It's just
Yeah, because where we're at now was not from people forcing
no.
it. It
But
was
look how long it took.
It took so long, and
it's going in the
people
right
just see
direction.
where it's at, and they want to go. They just want to go to the next step, but nobody's forced any of the steps we've taken so far. We gotta.
Right.
I think we really. Everybody wants it to move forward, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
But we just gotta be careful
Like,
how it goes.
I would love to see Street Fighter, like you guys are saying, in a level where it's almost like League of Legends,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
but it's gonna take time.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely doable, but I think it's
So
definitely
then,
gonna take time.
what back to what you were saying then is I see it seems like you're a little bit skeptical about the direction we're moving. Like you want it to move, but so what's your opinion on that?
No, I think there just has been a lot. There's been a couple instances where people think that it can just jump to the next level without. The FGC's big thing about that has been a grassroots approach. I mean, that's where it came from.
Right, exactly.
There hasn't been a
Absolutely.
big company supporting us from the beginning, like a lot of these games, because like Nolber mentioned, League, the company that makes it, Riot Games, they back all the esports stuff
Yeah,
themselves.
and then you've got Overwatch and they're Blizzard, so they got.
And I just think
you
in the
know.
past people have tried to have it jump to the next point when it wasn't ready, and not that it hurt it, but it just didn't catch on like a lot of people wanted it to.
Okay.
But at this point, with Sony and Capcom really backing Street Fighter, E-League just has Tekken on right now, and I think all these games are just at a great point for them to go forward. It's just that it just needed to get to that point. Like we
Right,
said, it's
okay.
been a Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4 coming out in 08, 09. I mean, it's been an 8-9 year build up to get to where we are. So, not that I'm skeptical. I'm just glad that
Yeah.
it's finally getting somewhere. We just got to make sure it's done the right way.
Right. Right. No, I agree 100%.
I actually like I think one of the most important parts of it getting to that level is how I said like a moment earlier, how to make it just as comfortable to look at as baseball or basketball, right? So let's say you're watching Street Fighter 4, right? You see Ryu versus Guile, right? You know that one of these players has to get their life decreased to 0, for the other player to like win, right? But you're just like, okay, why are they doing this, right? Why are they walking like back and forth? Why isn't anyone
Why
pressing
they're
any buttons?
dancing
Yeah,
and
like
this whole the fundamental piece that we understand but the viewers doesn't.
but they don't. Yeah, so it's just like I think before we and this is like a personal thing. Like before we go like to esports, right? We need to make it easier for people to understand that like line of thinking, right? Us like not like I have to win, right? It's just like what do I have to do to win? Why is it interesting? Why do people keep turning this game on over and over and over, right? And it goes into math, it goes into geometry. It really does, right? Because if you turn on hitboxes in a game, right, and your hitbox looks like this, right? You don't want anyone coming in right here because your hitbox doesn't come here, right? And it's like how many frames of advantage I'm on, right? That's math, right?
Yeah.
Like it's people like
But
people like think about it that way, obviously, but like I think if we could like connect that to like the common person, right? That like doesn't play fighting games
Okay.
or like video
Well,
games at all.
you're right. You're right. But okay, so the only argument that I have to that is like watching League and like I mean, I guess Overwatch is a little easier to connect with, but like League and Dota, if you don't play those games, you don't know what the hell's going on.
no idea what's going on.
It's just
There's like 6 screens.
at the very least, to somebody who is outside of the scene, like let's say like your parents, right? If they're watching Street Fighter on TV, at the very least they see like somebody kicking and punching each other, like they're just brawling, right?
Yeah.
Like you can at least that could be entertaining because people get together every once in a while to watch boxing, right? When there's 2 big fighters on TV, people are gonna have to get used to the fact that it's digital and it's not in person, it's not but
I mean, I agree a little bit with what you're saying in the points of hitboxes and the math of the data and stuff like that. But I think that's more towards the people that want to get into the game and the people that are actually playing today. Because back in my day,
I felt you like saying
none of
that.
that.
So you're like,
There was none of that.
Yeah.
Like you just went to an arcade and you were like, yo, that game looks pretty godlike. Let me just start playing. There was no data, there was no manuals, and it was all by feel.
Yeah.
And there was a crowd behind us just watching the mayhem. And that's something that really happened during the Marvel 2 era, where there were like 50 cats just like watching 2 people in this arcade all over each other,
right.
just to see the mayhem because it was eye candy. So I think personally that there are games that are gonna be able to get closer to the esports level that we wanted to get faster than others.
Yeah.
For example, right now the 2 games that I think are able to do that are Tekken and Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Like Tekken and Dragon Ball right now are really easy to see and understand to that level that you don't need the frame data, you don't need none of that as a viewer.
Yeah.
You don't need none of that. Like you can relate to all the Dragon Ball characters and have fun, and it almost looks like you're watching the cartoon. Like
I could compare that to some of the like sports. Like you watch basketball, everybody knows
Yeah.
they want to get the ball in the hoop,
Put the ball in the hoop.
Right.
and everybody can appreciate what is happening. And then
Right.
we need a game that's like that, that's easily presentable. But then the hardcore people are going to be able to see the pick and rolls,
Right.
and the set and the plays and the different position switches that really are the intricate pieces of basketball.
Right.
But the average viewer is not going to care. But then there's people that are.
And I
So
think
we need to be able
that's,
to appeal to everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of the disconnect personally. I think that's a little bit of disconnect of the game makers, what they're trying to do, and what esports, at least to me, I think should be.
Yeah.
Because you can have 10 players in the world that are the best at a particular game, right? But if nobody's watching, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You can have 100 players that are amazing, And again, if nobody's watching, nobody cares. And I think what they're trying to do is build up this easy to handle game so everybody gets on it, so that way it gets sales.
Yeah.
But it's not visually attractive to the viewers.
Right.
And that, again, that's one thing that Marvel had. I don't know if it was by dumb accident or whatever.
Yeah.
But Marvel 2 and 3 had beautifully. Like in Marvel 3 towards the end, you saw like the same 20 cats just like doing their thing, and thousands upon thousands of viewers every time watching Marvel 3 because it was just amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And I think companies are trying to focus too much on making the game easier instead of making it more like easier for the casual viewers to actually enjoy and
Yeah,
watch.
it's a
And
viewer.
then from there, the viewer watching that game, they'll be like, "Yo, let me go ahead and learn the game." It doesn't matter the how high or low the
Yep.
the entry point is. You just want to play it because you think it's hype.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
Yeah,
that's
they
my
got to reach a
personal take
balance
on it.
between we're friendly,
Right.
Yeah.
to where the viewer's gonna like watching it, but the players are gonna enjoy playing it at the same time. And there's some games that
Yeah.
went one way or the other too far, and
Mhm.
I think Marvel 3 was at a point. It wasn't as player friendly towards the end, but it was extremely viewer friendly.
Right.
Like you said, there was only a handful of people
That
who were
can
playing it at the
pull
top
whatever they can
levels,
pull,
but
yeah.
everybody's gonna watch. But you were hard pressed to get new players.
Right. Right. And even like Tekken 7, like we were talking about, Tekken 7 is such a legacy game
Yeah.
that if you are trying to get into now, it's a scary world to get into.
We actually talked
Yeah.
about that on the last podcast. Just like because I like Tekken a lot, right?
Mhm.
There's such a high skill gap, you know. Like you have to be playing Tekken since like Tekken 2,
Right.
all right, to really like or at least Tekken 3, you know, when they changed a lot of the
Yeah.
system.
People are
But-
like, you don't know how to Korean backdash? And it's
Right.
like, what?
It's like, what?
The what now? Why is
There's
it
only a
Korean?
few in the world that can do this. I don't know if you're aware.
Yeah, but yeah.
But everybody
yeah.
wants to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
just like it's like fighting.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
my thing is about Dragon Ball, and we talked about this a little bit last week too, is that Dragon Ball is appealing to Dragon Ball fans,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people are just playing that game because
Dragon Ball.
it's Dragon Ball,
Ball
right?
Z,
But then
yeah.
you have the fighting game community, and they did a really good job with making it appeal to the FGC and then appeal to just Dragon Ball fans, you know?
Right.
Now, general audience, maybe they're not into Dragon Ball and anime games like that at all, so that's where that disconnect is. But I think Tekken can connect with a lot of
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So-
like another game that has like the charms that you're talking about is Smash.
Mhm.
And I say that because like people like they turn on Smash and they watch it and they see Mario fighting Bayonetta, right? And they're just like, "Whoa, what's going on there?" Right? And then
Mhm.
and then they see like Mario like punch her and she goes flying like a million miles
Right.
per hour, and then she goes on screen and it goes right.
Mhm.
Like so like and at the same time, Smash is like very simple to get into, right? But like literally
high
the more you
level
learn,
is
so
really-
complex,
yeah.
right? So like, yeah, like I really do think that if we're gonna be esports, like the games that should be on TV are gonna be like the games with all the lasers, all the explosions, the games with characters that people know, right? And that is why Marvel did so well in that regard. You know why Dragon Ball Z gonna do well. You know Tekken, right? Because like people know Tekken characters,
Right.
right? You know I like really hope like Roger Jr. is in like Tekken 8, right? And like a Roger Jr. player gets like really good, so we just do, like this kangaroo,
Yeah.
right on sports. But people like watching that stuff. People like being involved in it, right? Something important is happening, something cool is happening, right?
Mhm.
And that's gonna make them want to go pick up the game and learn it. Come to
I think-
locals, majors.
I think the only, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why Street Fighter V does so well and can be one of those games that are squeezing into the esports stage, is not because it has what we're talking about. It's because it was the first one.
Yeah.
And it has that respect. that
Right.
people
Yeah, it's
still-
Street Fighter.
that-
Yeah,
Because
people-
if it was a brand new game that nobody knew about, and then we have Street Fighter and it's this Street Fighter V, people will play it, but it will not be as big. I think what makes it as big as it is and gives it an opportunity is the fact that it was the first one. It has such a huge mass appeal because everybody's like, dude, this what started it all.
Yeah, like
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that, and there's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was on the rise too with all the Midway people in on that and stuff. But Mortal Kombat is also
It's kind of hard to be able to push it because of the
it's
fatalities
very
and the blood
explicit.
and all that stuff.
It is one of those games that it's like that's one of the games that people remember, from Super Nintendo and Sega was Mortal Kombat. So when you talk about fighting games, that's the one that a lot of the people who aren't into the FGC up.
Right.
This is a very, very iconic game. Another one that could well ending.
Oh, yeah. But
Sorry. But yeah, so what's
we could talk about last night.
Oh, you know what? That's what I wanted to talk about. Is I wanted to ask you about your experience in the arcades, right? That's an experience that I haven't been able to have, and I've always been a big fan of the arcade, right? Even outside of fighting games, like Galloping Ghosts is one of the coolest places.
I've never been, and I want to go.
Oh, it is so awesome. And they're trying to right now. One of our buddies is, he's doing Injustice there because they have a studio outside of the arcade, and they have an Injustice scene, and there's talk of them having arcade tournaments again. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but I've always wanted to hear a little bit about that. So what's your experience
What
with
kind
the
of
arcade?
questions do you have? Let me see. What kind of what you got now?
Get started.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's not that one is better than the other. It's just definitely two different eras that are now colliding in some ways because obviously it's all part of fighting games. But going through both, I remember in the arcade games, one of the things that I remember the most is that no game was a casual game at all.
They were games you had to get good at,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, because you knew that if you lose, you're gonna lose that quarter.
Okay.
And every game there was no training mode. So every match was a money match.
Yeah.
Every match was a money match, even if it was 2 quarters. Like, you know what I mean? So there was that grind of like, I want to play here for 4 hours with one like set or like 2 quarters or whatever. You know what I mean? So that everybody was super hungry, and that hungriness came by itself. It wasn't like, oh, let me go ahead and play this. Oh, I can beat somebody, but that's around my house or anything like that. And I think that's part of the reason why rivalries were created a lot faster too.
Okay.
Because you know what I mean, like you playing the arcade and then somebody beats you and you're like, man, this guy, I can't believe somebody. Now I have to go change another $1. I'll be right back. You know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then you started hitting on the guy that always takes your coins and stuff like that. So.
Right.
I think that it created that whole vibe of rivalry a lot faster, and they were real. I'm not saying that the ones that are now are not real. I'm just saying that like people almost got to the point that they wanted to knock each other out.
Yeah.
But now the rivalries
person
is more about not personalities or having that grudge that somebody can beat each other. I think the rivalries now are more about you want to challenge the person that you think is better than you to see if you can be at that level.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
So I missed that part of the arcade grind, where people really, really wanted to get better because of that simple thing.
Right.
But it's also awesome to be able to see games and people get so much better, so much faster.
Right.
Because obviously training mode helps a lot.
Training
It's
mode.
awesome to be able to just turn your PlayStation on and just be like, I'm just gonna kick training mode for 4 hours. And in 4 hours, you're gonna be able to be way better than a guy that was going to the arcade 2-3 times a week, and then it will take me the same amount of time to get that good within like 4 weeks or so.
Okay.
And you were able to pull it off in 4 hours because you actually practicing the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
Now, on the other hand, in the arcade days, people got really good at fundamentals because you had to think very fast on specific situations in that one moment. Where right now I think people are getting super good at execution and combos, and their fundamentals are not as developed, which is I think why the best players now are the people that have both, and they're able to develop that fundamentals alongside being able to do crazy executions, of course. And it goes both ways, but I think the fundamentals to a lot of old school guys, it came naturally. because that's the only. It was kind of part of the only way to survive.
Right. Yeah.
Which is that dance that you were talking about
Yeah.
that people don't really see, but
Yeah.
you were like, I know I have to do this, but I don't know why I'm doing it. But oh, you know what
I
I mean?
wanna
It just
get
came
hit,
naturally
yeah.
like that because it's that edge of that wanting
Yeah.
to lose those quarters. So
That.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was grimy and stuff like that. I miss it sometimes. But now we're here and it's different, but at the same time, it's awesome in some ways. So
It's got its
another
ups and downs.
example I can
Okay.
give you is being a guy from Marvel 2. I think the time that it took people to discover things in Marvel 2, which would have been like maybe let's say 5 years. Well, we'll discover in 5 years. I think if Marvel 2 would have been out now, people would have discovered in like a year and a half because everything is out there.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's a
you
lot more
find a
accessible.
combo and something
Maybe-
new,
maybe
and
that's
you just
the-
put it on YouTube, and everybody.
Beyond, YouTube, Twitter, those things
changed
just
the game
information
completely.
spreads. I mean, but there was an example that I think people had used of the Alex Valle playing Alpha 2 or
Mhm.
Alpha 3 with his cousin
Yeah.
at a golf course, and he was playing Dan against his cousin just for fun because I mean, better than anybody, especially just
Yeah.
people who played the game
Right.
for fun.
Yeah.
And he discovered the glitch where if you activated deism standing, if you activated deism in while your opponent was standing, they couldn't block low for the first like 2.
Right.
So you could get an instant low kick into full combo, and he saved it. But I mean,
Nobody knew about it.
how nobody
The
knew
tech-
about it.
the-
So
that's the
he
other
did.
thing,
He
the
brought it
tech was
out
kept.
at grand finals against John Choi,
Oh.
and who instantly learned it and used it back against him in that set. But nowadays, I'm gonna post this to YouTube. I could be the one who discovered
And I
it,
think
and
it's
everybody's
awesome
gonna
that
know
people
it.
want to share like that. So that's the other part of it. I think people back then wanted to keep it because it was the way for them to win tournament, have that edge. But now sharing it, it shows that people care and want everybody to be part of it and
Right.
be good at the game. But I also think that it brings the game to a whole new level because you're not only giving somebody, hey, here's this tech, but you're also saying, here's this tech, show me what else you can do with it.
Right.
Let's see what else we can do on top of that and kind of stuff. So it's again, it's different eras, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, kind of going back to the idea of like it made people learn faster, and because they they were gonna lose their quarter if they didn't they
Mhm.
dropped a combo or
that's
something like
crazy.
that. So like
Can't walk
Um,
back to the arcade.
I like that aspect of being able to learn everything online. Everything is at the touch of your fingertips.
Right.
But at the same time, one of the issues I see with that is you have a lot of online warriors who don't go out to tournaments, and then when they finally go out to tournaments, what happens? So
Mhm.
that hands-on, like in-person experience you get from playing against somebody, I think is something that that is very important, and
Yeah.
we've been trying to really like push.
Yeah, I think also on the flip side of it, I think playing in the arcades, it gives you that not only that thing of like, okay, I don't want to lose my quarters, but it's almost like you were able to put your mind in situations that you were not on. So you can say things like to your mind and say, you know what, I have to win this game because if I don't, I have to go back home, and it's all lies. You're just lying to yourself just because you won the game so bad.
Right.
I don't have any more money to put in or whatever it is. And then once you start training your mind to trick itself to saying, I have to win this because if not, then this happens.
Yeah.
I was able to, once the Dreamcast came out, play with my training partner, Burning, shout outs to him in Miami. And we were playing literally casuals. And as soon as I saw mid-match that he was getting close to beat me, I will be like, if I lose this game, I'm never going to play Marvel ever again.
Oh my
No.
Like that. And I get into this grind in my head. I'm like, I have to win this game. If not, I'm done playing this game. And I will destroy him because I wanted to continue playing Marvel. So it's a weird mindset that you can trick your mind to do things like that.
Yeah.
That I think people take a lot longer to get into
Right.
because everything is so easy. So to your point, I think people now are just about practice, getting good at the combo, and execution, and then going to a tournament and expecting results right away.
Right.
Just
right.
because you know the combo and you can do it. Where back then, I think mindset is a huge deal.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think it's more important than data. To be honest with you, I mean, data is important. It's cool to have it, but it can only take you so far. It's almost like the
okay.
whole thing. When you watch basketball, you can see the killer instinct in Kobe. It's that mindset that he's like, yo, I gotta get this guy right now. I'm gonna finish him off right now because if I don't, then you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where
okay.
other people are just like, oh no, it's good. I'm gonna get my 20 and whatever. If it happens, it happens, kind of deal. You know what I mean? So not to bash on the new guys, it's just that I think the thing that the new players have in this era over the people from the arcade is that you guys actually are getting better at the game way faster.
Okay.
But I wish we can give you the mindset that we were able to obtain a lot faster, because then you guys, a lot of you guys,
It
will
would be
godlike.
crazy.
It will be insane.
Yeah, I think one of the players that has exactly what you're talking about is Minardi, the player who won Capcom Cup, because I believe before he won, Takedo KO'd him, right? Like he taunted him and then he beat him, right? And to come back from that, right? To be like, all right, you know what? I'm still gonna win.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah.
With Birdie.
That was all mindset. That's exactly what I'm talking
He
about.
put Birdie on the map. No one was looking at Birdie, and I was like, oh, Birdie's top tier. It's like,
It's like, really?
like leave him alone. Like I remember in Evo 2014, someone run at Rose, and like that put Rose on the map. I'm like, nerf Rose. I'm like, Rose is bad. Like in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Like, what? But yeah, like if more players had that mindset, like that combination of data and I want to win, right? Not just I know how to win, so I'm gonna. It's like, no, I want to win. Right?
Exactly.
And I know how to win. So I'm gonna.
So it goes
Right,
both
yeah.
ways. I wish people in the arcade days, we had that data. And we had those training modes and all that. Then it would have been a wrap for us. You see what I mean? It would be like, God, these people are way too much. So yeah, it kind of works both ways. So I think that's the main difference. Going back to your earlier question about what is it about the arcade days that I like the most or what I remember the most, it was definitely that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for the share. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can definitely like speak the ease and information. It's like training modes, for example, are becoming so much more intricate and helpful. I think one of the most important newer type things that people are just getting used to in their fighting games is the frame data tool, right? So you like walk up to someone and they block like a crouching light punch, right? And the screen says like +2, right? And you're just like, oh, I know that's +2 now, right? Because like the usual way that people do it is like they make the computer do something to them and then they hold up, right? And then if they jump up before the computer does, right? Then
Positive.
like, oh, it's plus, right? I don't know how plus it is, but it's plus.
But, yeah.
Right. But yeah, Skullgirls was the first game I think that I played that had that. And then Street Fighter 5 put it in their game. Then like some other games are like starting to have it now. And I like play with people and I'm like, did you know this was like -7? Like you keep doing it to me on block. And they're like, how'd you know that? And I like take the training mode and they're like, see, look, it's -7. And it's like right?
Not something
So,
they had back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just like, I think the rule like back then was just like, if they're not hitting me for it, it's safe. Right? And that's really
it's
for
like,
anything, really.
Nobody knows how to punish
Yeah.
that, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Prove
kinda
me wrong, yeah. Like, you gonna jab me out of this? Nah, all right, I'm good.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, ease of info will create this idea that you can learn anything you want at any time and that you're good at any time, right? So you don't really have to, quote unquote, put in the work, right? But that could not be farther from the truth. Like I tell people, I'm like, anybody can be Sonic Fox, anybody can be Tokido, anybody can be Daigo, right? Like that's not a lie. You can be at that level. What you have to do is to be willing to put in the work.
Those
do
are big
that.
words, Aaron. I hope
Yeah.
he's listening. So,
Huh?
Actually, talking about that, yesterday there was a tournament in Orlando, and one of our guys from the Midwest Squall, he used to be an NB guy, NetPlayBattles player, and he got picked up by BXA, and obviously props to him. Like he's being able to travel and do his thing. And yesterday at the monthly they had in Orlando, he beat Nakodu in grand finals, and he got like 4th place at KIT too.
I believe so.
And I remember this dude getting bodied at Godlike.
Yeah.
Like,
He put in
for real.
work.
And then he
Gosh.
went from that to actually being good, to then beating Hornet and then Legend with Abel, and then getting like This guy has been grinding it, and again, it took him time. Like he started going to Godlike when like around 2013, and now it's been 5 years, and then he beat Nakodu, the Capcom Pro Tour winner of what 2 years ago or something
Wow.
like that. You know what I mean? That's amazing. But you have to, you have to
And,
put in the
and
work.
it goes back to that mindset too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people psych themselves out, like, oh, I'm versus Zero in my Smash pool.
Well, you know what?
And then they SD on purpose, and it's
Right.
like, why'd you do that? you could have hit him.
So we have one of those hometown heroes right here that just beat Saint in Tekken at what was it?
Man.
No, it wasn't. What was it? Strong Style.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shadow. His name's Shadow, and he's like lived near me when I was in high school, and I had no idea until he came out to one of my tournaments, and like from what I seen him first time he showed up, we had no idea who he was. Bodied everybody in Tekken, and like we had some decent like Cuddlecore was there a couple times, and she's a sponsored player. Showed up and just wrecked shop, and then we were like, man, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But like he's just out here. He's a little bit newer to the scene, but he's had a lot of time just to put in work, and he's you know he set his goals right, and now beat Saint. I was like, oh my god.
He has like I think he has like an eSport, like this.
Who?
Shadow.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
awesome.
cool. Like I'm
That's
so
awesome.
proud of
But
him.
shout out to Shadow.
Yeah. Shadow, if you're watching this, or like if any of Shadow's friends are watching this, I'm so proud of you, dude.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like keep going.
But yeah, no, going back to the whole point of like how people are taking advantage of this era and how is where it's going. About 3 days ago, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dom Diablo Bison, and then Duo Kevin, which is also a Marvel player in Midwest and like one of the top players of Marvel Infinite and stuff like that. And he was amazing in 3-2. They hit me up and they were like, "Hey, Nolber, can we go to the house and talk and whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah." So after we had our conversations or whatever, they started playing on my system, and all they did was, I won't say what they were, why exactly they were trying to do, because I don't want to put them on blast like that. But they specifically pick a character, and they put that character to do the things that they were having problems with against a character that somebody was playing a godlike. So you can recreate the scenarios that you had before, and again, you can repeat that situation until you get better.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I bet I know what character and who.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
know, but I bet I know.
They're kind of like the whole thing. Oh, this is what you need, because they literally did the whole thing, and you have now the beautiful advantage of just saying, did that first button didn't work, second button that worked, or just go to the menu. Okay, that's -7, and this is blah blah blah. Okay, great. See, I'm not even familiar with the data. I'm just like, yo, let's go. But yeah, okay, great. Boop, boop. Done.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day in the arcades, you actually had to
You had to
be
hold
in that
that
scenario every single time
Every
and
single
remember to try a different thing.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's part of the reason why I created fundamentals, because you had to react to those situations, not only to react for that, but also teach yourself in that moment, because that was your training mode too. You're like, okay, he just did that. Like, I remember he did that 1 week ago.
Yeah.
And I pressed this button. I'm going to test this button. And you know what I mean? But you have to keep that in the bank and like be reactive in that moment all the time. It's like, it was crazy like that back then.
That's awesome. I really
So
really
like
wish I
the
was
people
around.
that had like the -1 frame block string, but no one knew it was -1, and everyone's just like, "Oh, this is broken." You don't know. Like every week, you get hit by this -1 block string.
They're just like, how do
The
I?
only
how do
answer
I-
is to throw him, but no one knows. And it takes like 6 weeks for someone to throw him, and everyone's like, "Hey, I just threw him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but yeah, I totally that's like another thing like I love about fighting games, like just seeing somebody be like seemingly beatable. Like, how did he do this? Like, and then like either by mistake or by labbing, you're just like, oh, I just had to do crouch and medium kick,
Right.
Because lights get stuffed and like heavies are too slow or like something like that.
I mean, you have quite a few stories of you at our tournaments, and Your experience with learning how to get better, Aaron. Once you shine some light.
Okay, so my tips. Yeah, are you asking me what my tips for getting better are in general? Okay, so I tell people that literally like the first two rules that you should know if you want to get better at fighting games are that you can beat anyone, that anyone can beat you, right? Very important ideas, right? That you cannot forget ever, right? Because a new player can come out of nowhere and just have some tech that you are not ready for, right? And then you sit there for the whole first to three. Suddenly you're 3-0'd and you're just like, what happened? Like I thought I was gonna win. I've never seen this guy before. Plays like Bong. Right. But it's also important, like as I was saying earlier, it's just like if you see like a top player or like your own personal demon, right, that you cannot beat, right? Like this like a Bison player that lives next to you that you always lose, right? And then you get put up against them. Right? Like don't be afraid. We're all human. None of us are computers, right? Anybody can be beat, anybody can be read, anybody can be analyzed, right? Including yourself, right? So it's it's just important to have that spirit of like I can do it, right? And anybody can do it. But yeah, I'm currently trying to master that mindset myself, which by Ryan put me on the spot.
Because he does this thing where after every tournament, and it's okay, like I understand, but he gets really mad, and he'll just be mad for like 2 hours straight, and the entire car ride home will just be quiet, and it's just like.
Look, at least I get back
Man,
up.
that sucks. Yeah.
See, I get back up
like,
the next
me
day.
and Bernie that having that.
I go into
I
tournament
told
mode,
him.
like,
I told him one of the things you should try to do, because you can apply this in all aspects of life. But the faster you accept your flaws, the faster you can progress.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, he doesn't like to accept that somebody's better than him, right? One of our roommates is actually one of his teachers, and it took him a long time to accept the fact that he's better than you.
I have already.
You're even salty saying it, but
Oh my God, whatever, man. But yeah, practice what you preach. I try to do it.
Yeah, but hanging with the people that you actually beat after that's kind of rough. I remember doing that in Miami, like playing with my boy Bernie, and then we'll be like, "Hey, you guys wanna go to the club or something like after the fact or whatever, like on a Saturday?" And like people don't go out until like 10 o'clock, whatever, or 11 o'clock. So we're like, "What are we gonna do until then? Play marble?" Okay, great. So we'll play. I'll beat him like 50-10.
Oh no.
And then from there, we gotta get in the car, and he's so mad, and we're driving to the club. I'm like, yo, this is not a good look. Maybe we should stop doing this kind of stuff. Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that dude was salty.
yeah,
And I was holding the L sometimes too, but it's just hilarious. Yeah, you're putting yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I think L's at weeklies are like a lot harder to take than like even like L's at like majors. Like it's just like your next chance is so far away. You're just like, oh, whatever. Like this guy's from like Florida, right? I'm not gonna see him, right?
Right.
Like your local weekly, right? You see this guy every day, right? And you're just like, wait, I gotta wait a week to try. Oh no. Right? you're sitting there, you're 0-2, and you're like, no, man.
So actually, I could while you're talking about that, actually, I can introduce an idea, and this is like an announcement for anybody, because I want to make a post on it, but I want to start hosting a segment on Sundays after we do the podcast, whether it's with the people that we bring on or not, but I want to allow people to schedule like a salty run back, like run it back.
That's legit.
Have it. We'll run stream.
Yeah.
And bring out who you thought you should have beat at your last tournament, or who you wanted to beat.
Thought you should have beat. Start beef between people you don't even know yet.
But yeah, no, I think that would be really hype, and a good way for people to start getting better too. Learn from that. So.
CGC next weekend.
Have you guys heard about CGC?
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this it kind of popped up. It's interesting, but their focus was Smash and other esports like Overwatch and everything like that.
Splatoon 2. surprisingly.
Oh, they have Splatoon
Really?
as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on I'm just like,
No.
whoa.
Huh.
All right.
But they're happening next week, and the guy who runs it got a $1,000 pot bonus for Dragon Ball, and then he invited the Frosty team to help out and kind of make that
Nice.
work, and then I'm helping with the Dragon Ball stage and everything. So that's gonna be a cool time.
How long has the tournament been announced? Because I didn't know about it until like maybe like a month and a half ago.
So apparently
Maybe a month.
something happened where they weren't gonna have the FGC segment, and then Mad City got involved, and I guess they were able to, and it was just like last minute. They only announced it like 2 weeks ago, which I'm just like,
Wow.
man, for this big of a tournament, it's like it's a little late for that, but we're trying to do everything we can to try and
You're definitely catching attention because the people that told me about it was the two guys that I told you guys about. Went to my house 2 days ago, which was Diablo Bison and Kevin. They were like, "Hey, dude, it's actually the same day as Godlike," because I didn't see any tournament at all happening, and it's all good. They were like, "Dude, I think we want to go over there and like see what's up." They got pop on us and stuff like that. I'm like, "Yo, no problem. Do your thing. Like, we like go
Right.
support that event."
Yeah.
And so they're coming. So
okay.
Well,
Well,
you definitely. I mean, even though it's kind of short time,
right.
you're
yeah.
definitely catching people's eyes. So
Okay. So, yeah, no, I had nothing to do with the date. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes.
Oh,
like,
no,
it's
it's
not
not.
my fault.
it's
not my fault.
It is the thing too. There's so many tournaments around the Midwest, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
That there's always gonna be a situation where we're stepping each other's toes,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's better to have too many than not enough.
some diversity. Like, there's stuff going on
Right.
everywhere. Which is
Right.
yeah.
And it's
makes-
tournament season right now. So.
Yeah, which is awesome because man, so we had some dead points over the winter, and it was like towards November, it was just a little rough. But that was actually before we started doing operations out of here. So, tell you guys a little bit about how we started here. We were hosting tournaments like at bars and stuff, and like then we moved to Chicago because we were in the south suburbs.
Yeah.
And then we were at Duffy's was our first place, and we had a melee tournament there. We had the CRT Lord come out, and he just unloaded a van full of like CRTs.
Yeah, shout outs to the Melee community. Like you guys, you put in work. You bring your own tournament.
Yeah,
It was
they
like- they
they're
go like
they're
20
self-sufficient.
CRTs. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like we just had to like give you a building.
and we were just at Gamers HQ,
Yeah.
which is the guy who hosts Smash and Splash, and he's got like 200 CRTs. He's got his own collection too on top. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah. So we hosted a melee tournament, and then we did a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite tournament when it first came out, and we had a $1,000 pot bonus, and we did that at Replay, and then we had Tekken as well, and then after that we were just kind of dead for a while, and then we got the opportunity to come here, and we were like, yo, we need to do something here. It's about to be Christmas. And so I got the idea to have the fight before Christmas, and I threw it out there to the community. I was like, hey, if you had to pick a day before Christmas, what day works the best for you guys? This is going to be a last-minute thing that we throw together, but I want to make it happen. I want to have as many games as possible, right? And so we had a lot of feedback,
Yeah, we did,
and it
like,
went really well.
25
We almost
plus
had like
games.
100 people,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
we had like 12 different games. It
No,
was ridiculous.
No, honey. We had like over like 25.
No way.
Yes,
No,
I counted.
hold on.
That sounds like
It was
It was a lot. And, like
We had
yeah.
Will English. I don't know if you know Will English.
Yeah,
He
absolutely, yeah.
came out to stream the arcade games. I believe a couple of them. Is one of their names Quentin? I think.
no.
Marvel player.
Will streamed Marvel at Frosty, didn't?
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, the arcade scene was here. So they had their own corner, and then I had Tekken, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear. Our stream went for like over 8 hours. It was a long stream. Like we were here from like 10 a.m.
grinding
till like
Grinding,
11
yeah.
p.m. It was definitely a fun
That's
day.
what's up.
And next year we're gonna do it again. We're gonna get a venue and
mean
try to
this-
make
this
it.
year?
This year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're just not gonna do it.
But yeah, so that's how we started doing stuff here, and then we had the Dragon Ball launch tournament, and that went really well.
And Dragon Ball has caught fire.
Oh,
my
it is.
God.
Passing
Like-
in a hurry, man. It's been crazy.
Like there's so many like I don't know what the correct term for them is, but there's so many things in the game that like people are like, yo, we got to do this when it happens. But like probably like the clearest example I can think of is like when Cell's intro, right? When he stands there and he goes, ah, right? And, like people, like in the crowd, like if you skip Cell's intro, like the
Oh, it's a
crowd
wrap.
will boo
No.
you.
Yeah, you gotta let it rock. You have to let it rock.
Like even
yeah.
the commentators be like, ah,
Yeah.
right? Or like when Tien does his level 3 with Chaozu, right? Like the crowd has to go Chaozu, right? And he explodes on them. But yeah, like it's such like a proud, like appealing game. Like it's so fun to watch with other people.
Yep.
And like just watch your buddy like do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know what's funny? Just a little side. I think I told you this not too long ago, but before Dragon Ball Fighters was announced, again, I mean, I'm not trying to bash on one or the other. No, I want to bring that conversation because it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like everybody, what I think is happening too with games, with the ones that are coming out and the ones that are not being played as much and stuff like that, I think is making people go back to the games that they actually love and kind of figure out the fact that you do not have to play the new game just because it's new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Dragon Ball did amazing. Infinite is doing its thing. But before all of that happened, before Infinite was even announced, there were rumors of Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I was telling my roommate at the house, I'm like, man, if Marvel vs. Capcom actually hits up ArcSys and make Marvel vs. Capcom with the ArcSys engine, that will be Marvel 2 on crack.
That would
Yeah.
be
That
nuts.
that will be insane. And then
Wow.
that's exactly what Dragon Ball did
Yeah.
with ArcSys. So the engine is made for a versus game, and that's why the game is doing amazing too. So yeah,
It's caught a lot of attraction from Marvel players too. Like
Yeah,
Marvel players are
for
loving
everybody.
it. So
Yeah.
Just a little side plug, like Marvel game. Girls.
yeah, this one game that a Marvel 2 player developed. Not saying, but
I'm just gonna
saying.
throw it out there, right? You know, check
so
it out.
give them a little bit of
if you haven't
background
heard
about
of it.
yourself since you brought it
About
up.
me?
Yeah.
That's
Why'd
my
you
life
mention
story?
why did you mention Skullgirls?
'Cause it's like Marvel 2.
It has a lot of it. It has a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a love letter. There's a whole 16-minute
where
video.
where I was going
about, like-
with where I was going with why you brought up Skullgirls is because he's a big Skullgirls player
Yeah, that's
and
my
he's
favorite,
he's
yeah.
super huge into that. And
Nice.
Yeah. But
I was trying to get into that game, but there was a lot going on with NetBattles and stuff like that. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I wish, or I hope they actually make a part 2 of it.
oh yeah,
with-
yeah. So like the plans for it are like, so they're working on another game called Indivisible, which is kind of like a Metroidvania movement style, but the combat is like Valkyrie profile, which is like a really old RPG, right?
Okay.
But they're doing that right now, and like after that, maybe, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people are asking for it, right? And there's also like a Skullgirls mobile game that's doing really well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. right.
yeah, the first time I heard about that, I was like, how does that work?
No, it's like you like tap it and like they do the animations from the fighting game, but it looks like wonky. Like somebody's like jumping hard punch wall bounces. You're like, like what? Excuse me. But yeah, like it like focuses more on the story or like whatever. But yeah, that's doing really well, and you know, people want it, right? So it might
Right.
happen. But yeah, Skullgirls, I love that game. Probably the game that maybe it's just like the one that made me want to get good at competitive.
Mhm.
The game that introduced me to it was Street Fighter 4. Right, that wasn't my
Okay.
first fighting game, but it was the
Fun.
first. Yeah,
So you're an all-nighter? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
like my character in it or characters were Elena and Dudley. Sometimes Makoto.
Elena.
So I probably.
No, I'm just teasing.
Elena. I'm never coming back here again. But no, like I probably should have played third, like more, because like those are all
Strike is so deep,
third
man.
strike games.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, like it was really like the first game that made me realize that I can sit down and better, right? Like
Mhm.
I can be like these players that I'm seeing on stream, right? Like I don't have to like sit there and admire them from afar and be like, oh, I guess I'm not Justin Wong. Like I can't do it, right? Like no, I
Right.
can do that, right? I
Right.
just have to play with people, right? And it was a game that like comfortable. That's why I brought it up. Right. So
So, is there anything else like you guys wanted to touch on, like as far as what you guys do? Like,
Yeah.
feel free to.
We
Anything.
got 2 things kind of, I wouldn't say in the works because they're kind of out there,
Yeah.
but
oh yeah.
so we have the Midwest Tournament of Power,
Right.
which is our little Dragon Ball Fighters circuit that we've kind of put together. So what it is, there are 7 players, 7 Dragon Balls
Mm-hmm.
you go out and get, and those 7 players plus
That's
one
awesome.
more last chance qualifier will play for chance to, well, those 8 players will play for a trip,
Right.
flight and Dragon Ball Fighters tournament. So right now we had the first 2 qualifiers were at Godlike Saturday last month. First and second place each got the 1 and the 2-star Dragon Balls. That was Twitch A and 810.
Mm-hmm.
The next qualifier,
Shout outs to Air Dash.
yeah, Air Dash Club putting in work for sure.
Yeah.
The next qualifier is coming Saturday, like Godlike Saturday. The 3-star will be up for grabs for the winner. Then we have
Louisville,
Southern Hostility.
which is actually
It's
by the end of this month,
in the month, the 31st.
the 31st. Yeah.
And then the 24th, I have a tournament up. A while back, I had run a tournament called Michiana Mash Fest up in South Bend, northern Indiana. So we're doing Mash Fest Mini, which is just going to be the 4-star Dragon Ball plus a Tekken tournament. So that's on March 24th in Elkhart, Indiana. Southern Hostility is on the 31st in Louisville, Kentucky. They have a Dragon Ball to give away, and then there's also a tournament in Cincinnati and Columbus. I believe
and
Cincinnati is
Brutality.
Arcade Legacy.
And Brutality, yeah.
Brutality-
So the guys that do Brutality, Jackal, and Arcade Legacy, they're gonna do they're gonna give away the Dragon Ball
At their final tournament on May 5th.
on May 5th, which is Alpha Attack.
Alpha Attack. That's at Arcade Legacy.
Right.
Okay, and then I don't remember what the Columbus. I can
The
look up the
Columbus
date.
one, the thing with the Columbus one, we have the date, but they just they've been struggling on setting up a monthly. So there's a new spot called Game Arena in Columbus,
Okay.
and
That's
they
right.
were able to talk to them, and now they're gonna start doing the monthly.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they haven't. This is so new, and I knew it was coming, that they were talking to them and everything was done. So that's why we decided to give a Dragon Ball to them to give away. They gave us the date. They're just trying to decide on the name of the actual tournament and put some promos out there and stuff like that. And that's gonna happen this month too. So right now we're just calling it Columbus, Ohio at the Game Arena tournament. But yeah, we have all of that going on to try to support the Midwest and for everybody to pretty much mobilize themselves and travel and go to the cities. Because between Indy, Columbus, Cincinnati, Kentucky, at best we have what 2.5 hours from each other. So people
We're pretty.
are willing to
Indianapolis
to
is pretty
drive and stuff like
centralized.
that.
We had people from St. Louis there
That's the other thing. Yeah.
last weekend or last month.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 at the February Godlike,
Mhm.
1 in March, Elkhart, Cincinnati, and Columbus,
Mhm.
and then
So the 6
Kentucky. Yeah.
in Kentucky.
So that's
There
the
you go.
7, and then May 12th at Godlike Saturday, May 12th, we'll have our regular Dragon Ball Z tournament, and the winner of that one will be the last chance qualifier, and then that day after the Dragon Ball, the regular Dragon Ball tournament is done, the 8 players will play a double elimination bracket, trip to EVO.
Yep.
And
all of it will be streamed on their NYC Furby and everything like that. So shout outs to Art one more time.
Yeah.
Again, that's another thing that we've been working on a whole lot. Working with him, it kind of started as a favor, and it has become an amazing experience working with them and everything. Pretty much what happened. All the guys that are Marbleheads were at the house one day, and me and Art, we worked before. And then one day I just told him, hey, look, we got a lot going on here. Do you mind if we stream something? And then he's like, by all means. And then we started streaming on his channel. And then from that point, just took off. And he's been nothing but supportive about the Midwest. So he pretty much
Nice.
let us borrow the megaphone that they have on NLBC. And now we're blowing it up here in the Midwest and pretty much just trying to give you guys as much content and coverage as we can.
Yeah,
so
no,
everybody knows what's
absolutely.
up. So it's been
Thinking about
definitely
this.
helpful. So shout outs to him.
Fired me up. I'm
On top of that,
come for one.
April 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Oh yeah,
Our
Naptown
yearly tournament.
Clutch. So
Previously Naptown Clutch, now just
yeah,
Clutch. Clutch
now
18.
it's just Clutch. But pretty much the reason why we went from Naptown Clutch to just Clutch is because it's just easier to talk about it.
Right.
Everybody knows how hard we are. We're it's in Indy, it's Naptown, and for people to tag and things like that. So we just rebranded it a little bit, but it is Naptown Clutch. Naptown Clutch 18 for 2018, but technically will be the 7th Naptown Clutch.
Yes, it is the 7th.
So,
7th of when?
So
No, it's
no,
the last
Oh, I'm
last
sorry.
year was
This is
Naptown
the
Clutch
7th,
6.
the 7th edition. Okay.
This would have
I'm
been
sorry.
Naptown Clutch 7, but now it's just Clutch 8.
18, correct.
Calling it.
Oh,
For
okay.
2018.
It
Okay.
is the 7th iteration of his series.
And what's the date on that? Or
April
when is
20th
it?
to
April 20,
22nd.
21st and 22nd.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing it a little different from other majors. So usually when people go to majors, you're expected there on Friday because your pool can be on Friday or
Right.
Saturday, whatever.
Right.
The way that we're doing it, because we're not at that level yet, and we want to get there, but still we want to make it easy for everybody to be able to come and have fun. On Friday, we're going to have exhibitions and team tournaments only. So if you want to be part of a team tournament or you're being called to do an exhibition, then that's the Friday. If you want to show up just to watch, that's cool too. And this year we're going to have Curly Mustache once again with Yipes and Neo commentating. Persia is also coming, and pretty much all the Marvel heads are going to be there too. So it's going to be super cool. Then on Saturday is when we're going to have the brackets for singles, and then Sunday is nothing but pretty much finals.
Okay.
And we are kind of working on one thing that just happened not too long ago, on having a DJ kind of like be there and just play
Nice.
music for
That's
people
cool.
playing casuals. So I need to talk to the hotel to see if we can do kind of like after hours. So once we're done with the brackets on Saturday,
Get a
which will be around
get a
9
dance
p.m.
going.
Yeah, have the guy just come over, put some music on, and like that's what we did in Uptown Clutch 3, and everybody was super cool. Like they loved it. So we just, you want to have fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
one of the things we were talking. I had this discussion with the guys from Frosty actually. And Michael Hionis was
Yeah.
talking about that. We were at UMaCon and we were just talking about how cool it would be if like because some of these other big gaming tournaments like BlizzCon and stuff like that, they had like Muse and like a bunch of artists there, and it would be
Yeah.
it'd be cool if you started seeing like DJs and artists,
Yeah.
like because they are an entertainment event, and that's another thing that would bring people from outside of the community inside, and
Right.
you know.
And that's another thing. Like we want to make it a tournament that people take serious and they want to win, but there's only one winner per tournament.
Right.
And we want everybody to feel like they
enjoy
went over there to
themselves, yeah.
enjoy themselves and actually have fun. And we've been fortunate enough that every time we have a Naptown Clutch, that everybody goes away and say, dude, this is one of the most fun tournaments we ever. Because we
Yeah.
actually, even when we had it as a one-day event, we all went together to pretty much some of the clubs in Indy and hang out like as a group and stuff like that. Because that's
Yeah.
what it's all about at the end of the day. So that's what we're trying to do. Since it's now we're a little bit bigger, we cannot take everybody to the club, so we're trying to bring a little bit of that
Yeah.
to the tournament and for everybody to
That's
have
cool,
fun and
that's
all
cool.
that good stuff. So,
Maybe you'll
Yeah.
maybe you'll consider me. I'm a DJ as well.
but
I'm
the
just
last
kidding.
thing
But,
that happened not too long ago was that Red Bull is gonna be
Oh.
there and supporting as well.
Okay.
Clutch. The reason why is because we're also supporting and talking about Conquest, the new circuit that they have
Yeah,
going
that
on.
just came out.
So
just-
we are literally the tournament right before Conquest here in Chicago,
Because that's on the
the 28th here in Chicago.
28th. Okay.
We're going to be
So-
at Clutch.
So they're gonna
promoting.
be Red Bull's gonna be at Clutch. They're gonna make a presence. We're gonna have a table where people can play casuals, and you can find more information there with the people that they're gonna have there, and get all that information about Conquest, where to go, the cities, the dates, things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, and they're gonna be obviously giving away some Red Bulls for everybody. Stay hype, stay alert, win some matches and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
So going back to like the whole fun factor of like the tournament, how you guys said that there's only one winner. You want everybody else to enjoy their time. You want other people to come that aren't competing and everything like that. We've actually just got invited to do the stage, to run the Dragon Ball stage at Smash and Splash, and
nice.
so Smash and Splash. But I think about there, and we talked to the guy recently, and his whole vision is just like that. He's like, it's at a water park, right, or at a resort, right? So it's a vacation for people, right? He's got rooms at like discounted prices and everything like that. So you could essentially go play Smash and go compete in the tournament, and then bring your family with to go play at the water park the entire time. You know, like creates a little bit of something for everybody. You know,
and
so
I think
that's really cool.
that's very cool for, especially for people that are new to the fighting game community and they're young. So that way, it kind of incentivizes the parents to support and do something else and things like that.
Yeah, I know I had trouble, like, kind of like that, just like a thing that is like worth my time, quote unquote.
More than a hobby.
Yeah, like it's more than a hobby. Yeah, because like she sees me like when I did live at home, she'll see me like playing fighting games, right? Or like she'll like drive me to a tournament or stay for a while. And then there was one tournament I believe it was UFGTF 9 before it became state. And she stayed, and she's like, "What are those like big tables people are holding?" I didn't know what she was talking about. What are you talking about? She was talking about like the sticks people are holding.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. See, you didn't know too. I'm like, tables? What?
Right. For a second, I thought she was talking about, you know how they at UFGT they used to have like side games, like literally where you play cards.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was just like, no, those are arcade sticks, Mom. She's like, well, why do you have one of those? I'm like, because they cost a lot of money, Mom. But like, the more like,
because I'm not an old man that came from the arcades.
but yeah, like the more she like saw these tournaments on like the ones I go to, I'll show her like my matches from like my stream matches from like tournaments I've went to, and like recently I got ninth at Frosty for Skullgirls, right? And I had a lot of matches on stream, and I showed her my stream matches. I'm like, look, Mom, like that's me right there. She's like, that's you? I'm like, yeah. Right, and she'll watch that, and she'll see like people like cheering for me, right? She'll see me like fighting these other people that seem really good, right? And then like she sees this, she sees what we're doing at Lowkick, and I believe like she's starting to undergo the change that I want to bring to everyone, right? Where they see this and they're just like, yo, like this is really cool. Like even at one point, she asked me to teach her how to play Skullgirls.
That's awesome.
I'm still trying to get to, right? But yeah, I think like the younger players do have a lot of trouble like convincing that, you know, Mom, this is a good idea for me to like travel all the way to California, you know, to play like video games, right? But yeah, I think Smash or Splash and events like it are like definitely like the right step.
Yeah. I feel like there's another tournament that's like similar to that, where there's some crazy off the wall idea like behind it. Can't think of what it is, but yeah.
But yeah. No, I was gonna say there's
Oh,
there's a lot of things in the pipeline, and a lot of people trying different things to bring the community together and stuff like that. So we're not going anywhere. It's just gonna get bigger.
Oh
so
yeah.
Just gotta keep grinding it out, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy to hear like you guys are doing so much. I had no idea. There's like, I mean, I try to pay attention on Facebook and everything, but you know we're really rooted in Chicago, so I don't really know a lot of what's going on outside, and I've just now heard about Godlike because Frankie G comes here to play. You know, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I love it. Wait, what was that? You like heard his name?
We have talked so much stuff for here. This is the thing. This is the reason why. No, Frankie, shout out to him. This is what happened. What happened was, this is what it is. When I came to Indianapolis, and I was looking for the scene, like I told you guys before, I was like, oh, let me go. I went on literally on Shuriken.com and went to the forums and all that stuff, and I was trying to find something, and I found Naptown Clutch 1. Which again, shout outs to well, I haven't shown him out, but pretty much G. He was one of the guys that created Naptown Clutch along with other guys like Mario and stuff like that. And they saw what it became, and they just pretty much handed it out to me, and I just took over. So thank you to them for allowing me to do that. But anyways, when I went to Naptown Clutch 1, and I entered both tournaments. Frankie G was there,
Yeah.
and he was a Marble 2, or he is kind of a Marble 2 player. To me, he's more of a Marble 3 player. But if you listen to this, it's gonna be so funny. But pretty much, I sit down and I'm about to play the match, and he's sitting next to me, and he's like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Nolber, just a guy from Miami. I play Marble 2 and stuff like that." And he's like, "You're about to get bodied."
Oh
I
no.
was like,
Yo.
"Nice to meet you too, dude." and I destroy him like free. And then he's like, "Okay, all right, you play." So it was Frankie G just being Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we're good.
Frankie's
No,
awesome.
it's always great to run into somebody like that. Where it's like, I'm about to body you.
Yeah, I'm like,
And
dude,
you're
I
like,
don't even know you.
what? It's nice to meet you too. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We were talking about like looking at other scenes and not knowing what tournaments are going on and stuff. The
Yeah.
best way to do that right now, like, because he was talking about Shoryuken back in the day was a good way to
Yeah.
figure that out, but now Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a part of like 12 different
Groups and stuff
Facebook
like
groups.
that.
There's
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Indianapolis, South
Milwaukee,
Bend, Chicago,
yeah.
Chicago, and Chicago Marvel. There's Kentucky.
Like.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's just tons of groups, and so just going and searching for your local cities, big cities in the area, fighting games, you're gonna find it. Because I travel for work, so I also try to hop into other scenes when I'm in the area. So I'm in the Dallas, the Utah.
Mm-hmm.
X Level has their own, and I'll be
Yeah.
just seeing what events they have going on when I'm in the area, and see.
Yeah, so just
Hang out
Facebook
at.
changed the game too. Like it makes it so much easier with the.
That's the
groups and
best
stuff
way
like
to
that.
keep
You
in
literally
touch.
just type "fighting in community" in the
In
city,
this city,
Yep.
and then it comes up. Okay.
and then there it
Comes
is.
up.
You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's, and that's one of the things we're just now getting to that point where I can finally reach out to communities outside of Chicago, and try to connect with them and get on board with what's going on and try to make something happen. So
Cool.
yeah, we got about we got about 10 minutes left. Yeah.
Okay, so this is always something that I've wanted. Touched on it before. Seemingly, okay. I don't want to change.
I feel-
Kind of want to put a question to you guys, right?
Okay.
So like Violent Ken, right?
Mhm.
Very like really powerful character. Right? So
Pretty much broken character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like no one would really like. Okay, so people want to ban Bayonetta, right?
Mhm.
Android 16 and Cell and Dragon Ball Fighters are kind of like at the same like strength level where people are like a lot of people, right? Violent Ken, I assume, like also like kind of like in that area, right? So like as a player like from right, like when you see like a character that's like really strong and everyone's playing that character, right? Was banning like really like a consideration, right? Would anybody even think about it, right? Or was it just like you need to learn the matchup?
I think.
Right.
Go ahead.
I think Japan was a good example of that where
Mhm.
there was a couple characters that, because like the only time I ever think of like a character as being overpowered, you can talk about like Virgil and Morrigan and Marvel 3, but you can
They
still
were
deal
not
with them.
broken.
They're good,
They were top tier, but they were
but
not,
when a character
well, Morrigan maybe.
there's things when
Yeah.
We should have
But
banned
there's
Morgan.
I'll talk about her here in a second.
No, yeah,
but
but
I
I
won't say
think-
names of the people that I had a discussion with. Not to put
But
them on
I
blast,
think
but
that
yeah.
there's sometimes when a character can do something that they're not supposed to, or that other characters don't have access to, or that the game isn't supposed to allow. For example, in ST, Akuma's Air Fireball was not. There is no character in the game that has any tool that is made to deal with that, and that's why to unlock him, you could actually a banned character because his Air Fireball. There is no character that can reliably deal with that in the game out of the entire roster. And I think 16, while is not as impressive, the fact that he has an untechable knockdown, because I don't know how much you know about Dragon Ball or how much you've been playing, but his light command grab can't tech roll or pop out of it. That's what makes him broken, is that he has an untechable knockdown. It's a guaranteed, just like that was the hard knockdowns in Street Fighter 4, where they made the delayed wake up to
Can
get rid
he
of
kill
that.
from it?
He has guaranteed setups, guaranteed meaty. because you can't roll, you can't pop up, you can't tech out of it. Knockdown, it's a mix-up. It's a guaranteed 50-50. Because, and that's what.
I'm a Marvel 2 player. I'm already thinking of ways of getting out of the problem.
Well, no, I mean you can DP, you can sparking, but every other character, when they knock you down, you can roll, you can pop up.
Yeah.
You cannot do that out of his life. That's the reason he's good. That's the one. He has other stuff, but the reason 16 is good is because he has an untechable knockdown.
I will say this.
I don't think he should be banned. That's just the reason. I think he should. That should be hot fix. Make it so they can tech roll.
Yeah, maybe something that they can patch, and I'm pretty sure they eventually will patch. But I appreciate the fact that they haven't patched it because
It's early.
Because it's too early, and people maybe will find solutions to that problem. But I think also that it's about, in a way, indirectly. Again, going back to the whole conversation we had about the arcades, is teaching people to respect the situation.
Yeah.
And you have two choices. You can either pick that character as well and learn it, so not only to play at the same level as other people are playing the character, or understand how that character works so you can play against it. But again, it goes back to basics where you try your best to not put yourself in that kind of situation, so that way you end up in that kind of.
Well, yeah, because he is like some of the worst.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
Oh.
So
You know about 5H, right?
5H.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the armor. It's
Yeah.
armor. Yeah, I mean, he has an armor move, of
Full
course.
screen.
He's got an
shoulder
armor.
dash, right?
He has a juggernaut shoulder dash that has armor that
It
you can
goes
combo
through
off
beams.
of, and you can combo into the hard knockdown, and then you get 50-57.
It goes through the beam.
So he has a lot of stuff. He has a lot of tools. But I think that if they patch the untechable knockdown, I don't know if he'll be.
sound as bad
I
as
don't know if he'll be a
Virgil,
character
though.
anymore.
Yeah. See, yeah, because he's the grappler of the
Yeah.
game, right? And that is like
If he doesn't get anything off his grab, I don't think he'll be a character anymore. So if they do hotfix, it's a balance of, he
No, I don't
has.
think he needs to be batch or anything like that. He's just a top tier.
y'all just need
It's
someone
like
in the matchup.
he's.
But like I said,
with the
it's
situations that you're explaining to me that he has, there are other games that character had more.
right. But
Like,
I'm
for
just
example,
saying, in the
Virgil had
context
more-
of this game, he has something that almost no other character has, and that doesn't really seem like it was meant for the game, because you have, you hit the button when you hit the ground, you pop out, you tech roll.
Mhm.
You can't. He forces you to not be able to do that, and that's what sets up a situation where he has cross up overhead, a low, a +6 frame meat.
Yeah, you can tell they designed him like that because he has a move.
That's all he has.
That's just
Yeah,
like
it is all
right-
he has.
Yeah, it's like right in front of him, right? Like literally just like a character space in front of him, and it's like plus like double digits on block, right? Where he just,
And it's combo that
Yeah.
it's his fireball with his S button.
Yeah.
And that's
So to me, it sounds like a character that at the moment everybody should have on their team because of those
a lot of
abilities and options.
Yeah.
But that character's not gonna win you in the match.
oh yeah, so many 16s enter our weekly, and most of them.
Yeah. I mean, he's Twitch Ace Point, Sonic Fox's anchor.
Yeah.
A lot of people play him, but he is
People
good.
Don't, people never
Even
get
with
to
all
see
of that,
16.
again, I'm a Marvel 2 player. Sentinel has way more.
Well, no.
tools.
See, I'm in that mindset
destroy
too.
people.
I'm just saying this is what people are saying about him, but
Yeah.
I would never want people to patch Marvel 3. Like, I love that
Okay.
game as is.
Now,
See,
talk-
he's the
now
guy
you
that.
brought- now you brought it
Nah,
up.
see, I love Marvel 3.
You
I don't
gonna
want
come
anybody
up
to
here
touch
talking
that
about
game.
16 and talk about,
And this, again, I'm gonna give you my opinion in a conversation that I had with some of the top players about Marvel 3 as well. I won't say names, but this is the thing. In Marvel 2, obviously you have everybody's like, oh, it's a game that has 52 characters in the roster, but you only have 6. Dude, you can make teams that destroys other team. And Marvel 2, it got to the level that it was about counterpicking. You can have a scrub as team. A team of scrub characters that can actually handle a top tier team, but you have to be good at what you're doing too. Like video proved us all, like that's the case. But of course, yeah, if you go ahead and say, okay, these are the top characters, obviously Sentinel, Storm, Cable, Magneto, and
Iron
Black,
Man,
even
Cap.
Blackheart, and like Iron Man and stuff like that, Cyclops and stuff like that. Cool, but none of them, even with Sentinel having everything that he had,
they couldn't be certain.
really was up to a point that it was just like literally broken. There are teams that Sentinel will not have a chance if you play the matchup well. In Marvel 3, there's one character that a lot of people believe that is actually broken, which is Morgan. And the reason why is because in Marvel 2, you can do traps, but there's always a way we have discovered through the years there's a way to get out of the traps. And everything that comes at you is coming from the front. So, for example, I don't know if you guys have seen the spiral trap. You activate the source with a spiral, and then you throw them at the guy, whatever, and you keep them locked down. But in Marvel 2, everybody discovered that it's very simple to just go ahead and take that one hit and then flip out. And then next thing you know, you're in front of the guy, and then you're back in the game. So you have to take a little bit of life for you to be able to have that chance. With Morgan, you can stop maybe the stuff that's coming in front of you, but there's things coming behind you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That to me is broken, and I know a lot of people in the FGC that play that game religiously have said that that is kind of broken because there's nothing literally you can do. You just have to hold the L, and that's why you see her being so great. So if I were to patch one thing about Marvel 3, will be that in particular. Everybody else, I don't care about Zero. I don't care about Virgil.
Well, how would you change it?
Good.
I mean, I have two ways I would change it. One of two ways. Either she doesn't gain meter during Astral Vision, or if you hit her, her fireballs go away. One of those two things. And I think, what is it, the UMVC X, the guy that he had made a patch on the PC port,
or whatever that he was
I
making
think
that
he
PC
did
version
something like that with her. He just kept it pretty much exactly the same, but toned down Astral Vision.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which one. People have talked about it before, either making it so she doesn't gain meter during Astral Vision, or if you hit her, her fireballs go away. Because there are characters that are like that. Their stuff just doesn't.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the game, everybody in the game, you had top tiers and everything, and even Zero, as good as it was, and Virgil and everything, if you are patient and you pick the correct characters, you can actually have a chance against them. Morgan, man.
She doesn't have a counter pick. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Virgil with 5 meters counters her. That's about it.
Virgil with 5 meters.
Yeah, you just put swords and then
Just put
stop
swords up
throwing
and
fireballs.
knock her down.
Stop it.
But other than that,
Yeah.
there's not very many that a lot of the characters can do.
No, so going back to the whole thing of banning characters and stuff like that, like I think personally that games should not be even patched within the first 6 months of the game.
Yeah. No, I
don't-
agree
Oh
with
yeah,
that,
me either. Yeah.
I think people need to really test every single option out there instead of just saying, well, I want to pick this character because it's a top tier, and I want to pick my character and be able to pick that other character that supposedly is broken. If it doesn't, then I'm sorry, but then we have to patch that character. Well, you haven't tested the other rest of the roster. Even if they're bad characters, maybe one of them has the actual thing that can beat this top tier.
Yeah. Okay.
And especially in a versus game where you get to pick 3. You can have that one character that counters that one and still have 2 top tiers and have a good team. That it's like I'm saying, like in Marvel 2, that's what it was. Yeah. I saw teams in Marvel 2 that picked Ken just because of the assist. Because it was a way to counter some of the characters and stuff like that. So it's I think people just need to be patient. That's what it is, and like really test things out.
Right.
I want them to give Phoenix Wright his invincible assist back in turnabout mode. That's what I want. When they took that away, I'm just like, wait, hold on. Excuse me? Senko gets the same thing by doing a super and then tagging out. Basically, like for turnabout mode, I have to sit still for 2 seconds in Marvel.
Yeah.
right. And Marvel. And sometimes I don't even get good evidence. I get like a wrench or something. And like I'm like, now I have to go back to investigation mode. I have to throw it away. I have to pick up again. That put me on tilt so bad. I'm like, I know it's my fault for playing Phoenix, right? But I'm just like, I worked so hard to get that mode. It should stay at invincible assist.
Right.
Anyway,
So we're running down the clock now. Only a couple minutes left. But moral of the story, patch Morgan, right? No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Buff Morgan.
It's too late. The game is fun.
Nerf
The game
Alex
is
in
mad fun.
Street Fighter 5.
But before we head out here, I got a few shout outs, and you guys can shout out as well if you'd like. I wanted to shout out and put the link to one of our friends who comes out here, and he is starting up his own gaming lounge out in the southern suburbs. And he asked me if I could put the link in the Twitch chat. Shout out to him. He has a GoFundMe.com for his lounge he wants to start up called Online Warriors. So go support Craig. He's a nice guy. He's also Dragon Ball player, and he's got some goals listed on there. You can check that out. Also, shout out to Central Illinois FGC. I know that one of them was watching, and if you are still watching, say what's up. But go check them out. They have their monthly coming up soon, and you can find their Facebook group, Central Illinois FGC, on Facebook. And then if you guys want to promote anything, feel free, or shout out to anybody.
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah.
We got Godlike Saturday next week in Indianapolis. Got this mini 4th. And then April, no Godlike Saturday in April at Clutch. Southern Hostility coming up. The stuff at Arcade Legacy. Reality. Jackal and all.
Jackal's putting
Gal.
so much work.
Travis. Everybody putting in the work.
I see you, Jackal. You're putting in work, man.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, shout outs to pretty much the entire Midwest for always supporting everything that we do for so long, and shout outs to you guys who, I know you guys just started, but you guys are already killing it. I mean, this is awesome that you guys are putting this podcast together. This is something that is needed, so that way people can have some more fun in a different way and discussions and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, this good talks today. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
No,
driving out here. It was a
no
pleasure
problem, man.
having you guys on.
Anytime. Shout outs to Vandy from KIT. Me and he's actually
help.
helping as well with Clutch. He's one of my mentors when it comes down to being a TO. Shout
Learned
outs
so
to-
much from that guy.
Oh man, yeah. Arturo again. Much love to him. The New York boys, Yipes, Persha, pretty much everybody from New York that always helps and all that good
Keep
stuff.
coming out
Spooky
for
himself, big,
commentary.
even though we haven't met, but we know that we always like doing the whole thing about streaming and all
Yo.
that stuff. Huh?
Neo and C for coming out too. Shout
Oh,
outs to
Neo.
them.
Neo's coming to the tournament as well to commentate. So yeah, the whole scene, man. Everybody out there, everybody that I miss, and big shout outs to Amber, Joe, and Bill, which are the other people that helps us with Godlike Saturdays. They've been putting a lot of work as well. So yeah.
Cool. And then a couple things from us. There is no Super Saturdays next week. We did say it. Huh?
This weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry. This weekend there's no Super Saturdays. The weekend after we will be continuing Super
Yes.
Saturdays, and then I will have the flyer for our monthly coming in the second week of April, posted soon. Yeah, but we are gonna have a surprise for you at the next Super Saturday, so stay tuned.
Hi, Mom.
And then yeah, stay tuned for other stuff too. If you want to book an exhibition,
That's funny.
if you want to book an exhibition and get that salty run back,
Yes.
we are now
Please do.
taking registration for that every Sunday. Whether you're on the podcast beforehand or not, if you want to run it back with somebody on stream,
Or if you want to start beef, right? Tell them I'm about to beat you in front of the entire low kick fandom. All right.
yeah,
That's what they're doing.
yeah, right? But yeah, simply run it back.
Yeah.
And it, but that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
It has been
as we always say, we do this all for you guys, right? It's all for you, right? None of this will be possible without the players, without the hype men, right? That's you guys. Thank you for coming every week. We'll see you later.
all right, and
Yeah.
signing out.
Signing out.